Hello everyone. I quickly wanted to make a video that explains how you read transits. There are multiple videos on YouTube that explain Saturn's transit into the next house or next sign or next nakshatra, Jupiter's transit, Rahu Ketu's transit, and those are good videos. There are some great videos out there, but many many people don't actually explain how you use those readings. Are those readings even accurate? Where What chart do you use while you understand those readings? Do you use the moon chart, your ascendant chart, your sun chart, your Navamsa, or basically how much of a particular planet's movement in the skies will impact you as an individual in your life? Many people place all their eggs in one basket thinking that one transit is bad and my entire year or 2.5 years will be spoiled. That's not really how it works. Transits, I'm going to divide this video into multiple parts and I'm going to put the timestamps below. First, what are transits? Transit basically refers to the movement of a planet from one sign to another, one nakshatra to another, and also the motion of the planet. There are 8 motions in which planets travel. For a little simplicity, I'm just going to refer to two or maybe three. One would be your normal motion, that is your direct forward motion. Second would be your retrograde motion, that is when the planets sort of go into a backward motion. And third would be stationary motion. This is between direct and retrograde. Any planet, when it turns from direct to retrograde or retrograde to direct, it's gonna stay stationary for a while. Stationary basically means that the speed is very slow, almost zero, and this is a very important part. I'll come to it later. Second part is um, how much a transit can impact an individual. When we see transits, they have they do play a important role, but the most significance would be of your own birth chart. How strong your ascendant is, how strong your moon is, how strong your entire birth chart is. This tells us that you will be able to use the powerful transits or the good transits at your advantage, and the bad transits or a little bit negative transits will not be able to hit you with that much impact. Second is dasha. Dasha is the most important thing. Dasha is the entire sequencing of life. Whenever an event happens, it will not happen solely based on your transit. So if all the transits are negative, all the transits point to you know um, a harmful period or maybe a little bit disturbing period, but your dasha is very strong and your birth chart is very strong, chances are you'll get out and with no or minimal damage. Third is, how do you define transits? Is Saturn's transit more important than Sun's transit? Answer to this question is yes and no. When we see transits, Saturn's transits are the longest, right? Saturn transits one sign for 2.5 years. This includes his direct, stationary, and retrograde motion. Jupiter transits one sign for 1 year, approximately 1 year. Rahu Ketu transit one sign for 1.5 years, that is 18 months. And then we come to other planets: Mars, Venus, Mercury, Sun. These are your faster moving planets. Mars will can stay for a very long period in a sign, but that longer period would also be a max of what, 3 to 6 months. Usually Mars, that includes its retrograde motion. Mercury, Venus would be your faster moving planets. Sun's transits are fixed. Sun moves after 1 month into the next sign, and Moon is the fastest moving planet. Moon moves at the speed of 2.5 days per sign. Sun and Moon, for them, the transits will never vary in duration because they never go backward, they never go retrograde or stationary. They're always direct. They are the luminaries. They have to go into a direct motion. Otherwise, the world would cease to exist. So when we see the transits of longer planets, longer as in the longer duration transit planets, they will have a more significant impact because the events they create will stay in your life for a longer period, for as much as the transit lasts for, at the very least. For your shortened term planets, they will also create an impact. It's not that their transit is not relevant, all transits are relevant. But in terms of the duration of that event, a longer term transit would naturally stay more. The effects would stay more because the planet will stay in that sign for a longer period of time, and hence they will hit you with more intensity, in a way you could say. When we talk about our shorter term planets, they will, and they do, create havoc or very good opportunities in your life depending on the transit, but that's for a shorter duration. So whatever comes, chances of you coming out of it are higher, or chances of you coming out of those situations quickly are higher, because the planet will move into the next sign quickly, or quicker than the other planets. When we talk about our longer term planets, when I say longer term, I'm usually referring to the duration or their transit time basically. For those planets, we also analyze nakshatra. A nakshatra level analysis will pinpoint the events. So when you say an event is supposed to happen in your life, when we get to the nakshatra level, it becomes more granular, and hence the prediction might be more accurate. Next, it's very important to discuss from what, like, how do you see a transit? Do you see it from your moon sign or your lagna sign, or is there a third aspect that we do talk about? Transits from your moon sign are very important because moon represents your karma. So transits, when you see from the moon sign, represents fructification of that karma. Then what is the significance of transit from your ascendant sign? See, both are important and relevant. As much as I've seen, a transit as to how it will impact you in an emotional level will be seen from your moon sign, and a transit as to how it will impact your physical life, your life as people see you, as you see it objectively, non emotionally, that's seen through the ascendant. I'll take a quick example. The example I was talking about is when Saturn, let's say, is transiting your 11th house from the ascendant. 11th house usually is the house of gains, and Saturn could and can, very well does, give a rise in status, a rise in income, along with, maybe expansion of your social circles. Maybe you suddenly get recognition at work, and all those things come under the realm of Saturn. Let's say this Saturn is, like I said, transiting 11th from the ascendant, but from the moon, this becomes your fourth house. Fourth house is the house of your home, is the house of mother, is the house of mother. It's the house of your internal peace. How satisfied and happy are you internally? When Saturn is transiting the fourth house, it could cause some disturbances when it comes to your peace of mind. So even though your income will rise, your status will rise at work, and everything good is happening at the physical level, you still are not happy internally. Reason being, there might be separation from mother, you might get promoted to a different location, and you might have to relocate. So although your income has increased, your status has increased, your peace of mind, or the fact that you are not able to stay with your family anymore, is disturbing you internally. So this is a twofold impact of any transit. This was just an example. Transits, like I said, give result on the power of your own birth chart. Saturn in the fourth house could give you immense gains from property as well, and Saturn in the 11th house transiting could potentially cause loss of friends as well. Depends on the power of your birth chart. This is another aspect when it comes to evaluating transits. Another thing I want to add here is people don't consider the fact that they have natal planets in their birth chart as well. So when Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Jupiter, or any planet goes over your natal planet, that in itself is a separate result. So Rahu transiting the fourth house from ascendant or from moon is one. Rahu Ketu transiting over Moon is second. Then them transiting fourth from the ascendant and first from the Moon are is a separate story altogether. So it gets very complicated, and to actually be able to filter results, you have to look at multiple things at the same time. And Dasha, like I said earlier, sort of stays above all those things. The power of your birth chart, Dasha, and then transits, and all these levels within transits. Specifically for Rahu Ketu, what I've seen is the transit from the ascendant sign makes more sense. Reason being, they are our karmic path. Wherever Rahu Ketu are in our birth chart, that is the karmic path that the soul has decided to move on to. So their transits are usually manifest in the physical world more. They will have an impact emotionally, but their transit would make a better sense from the from the ascendant sign. Saturn's transit, like I said, makes sense from the moon sign and the ascendant sign. Moon sign in the sense of your emotional impact, and ascendant sign on the basis of the physical impact, how that transit hits you physically. Physically meaning in the physical world. Jupiter's transit again from moon and ascendant both, just like Saturn's, and for all other planets also the same logic follows. When planets transit over a particular natal planet, they are said to, what they basically do is they activate that particular planet. The significations of that particular planet come to life. Now, depending on the dignity of that natal planet, these results could be very good. These results could be very bad. We also have to understand the relationship between the two planets. Sun and Saturn are inimical to each other. So Saturn transiting over natal Sun, chances are that you might have to witness some negative results as well. Some maybe loss of status, or some disrespectful event that comes to you. But if Sun is in a very strong dignity and Saturn transits over it, you're running a good dasha, all the other factors are supportive. It could basically mean that you get a promotion at work, because Sun is ultimately your respect. You suddenly get a rise in your status, you suddenly get appointed at a. And remember, Saturn is public. Saturn wants justice and fairness for the public. So you might get appointed to a position wherein you are supposed to overlook the welfare of the people. Both these, you see how it works, right? And when the relationship between the two planets is such that it's connecting, both those planets are friendly to each other, then we automatically can see that the transit will be more fruitful. Again, we have to analyze both the aspects. Outside of it, I strongly feel that when you open your kundli on any website on the internet, there is something called as Ashtakvarga points. Ashtakvarga is basically how much points a particular planet receives from, basically, if Rahu Ketu or let's say Saturn gives 4 points to Aquarius, that means that his transit in Aquarius for you will be average. Above 4 is very nice, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 being the highest will be the best possible transit, and below 4 is a less than average result. We could probably anticipate some challenges coming your way before a fruit or a good thing comes to fruition. Another thing I strongly feel is that all these things, this chain of event is just connected. So for any event to fructify, your birth chart, dasha, transit, everything culminates, and that's when you get the result, or you learn the lesson. And when you connect the trajectory of both those things for a period of time, you're gonna learn what these planets are trying to teach you. One is definitely that the planets want to sort of, you have a pending karma with regards to that house, that area, and you're gonna have to exhaust that. Another way to see this is as a journey of evolution, as a journey of lessons. When you start to look at it from that perspective, you're gonna realize there is a lot more to learn. And when that happens over a period of time, um, a strong character gets built. If you're able to analyze those lessons, and if you are able to analyze them early on in your life, chances are you're gonna save yourself a lot of heartache later in life. This is pretty much all I wanted to share using this video. The timestamps are below. I'll basically make a map of whatever I said so that it's in better continuance. And I'm gonna post a lot more videos with regards to specific transits now that I've finally made a video as to how we look at transits. We can now go to specific planets and understand how Saturn acts when he transits the first house. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Please do like, share, and subscribe my channel, and comment down any ideas or any specific topics you want me to cover in the coming videos, and I'll definitely try, if I can, to make a video on them. Lastly, I want to share the most important point, probably should have started with this, is that nothing is set in stone. So no individual, including me, predicting something, saying that this particular event is going to happen, is set in stone, is 100% accurate. There are a lot of factors. The entire objective behind this video is that there are so many factors that come into picture that taking someone's word for it and setting your expectations according to those words is like setting yourself up for failure. Use these videos as guidance. Use these videos as probably planning, but never use them as hard set predictions that a specific person has told you that, okay, you are going to lose your job in this particular transit, so that's what's going to happen, and you just give up on your job completely and mentally you lose out on that balance. Please don't do that. That's not the way astrology should be used. Astrology is just a guiding science, and a lot of people, including myself, are learners in this journey. So even I don't know 100% of it. I don't feel any shame in admitting that. And if you were to believe someone's word, okay, that's someone has told you that this is something that's gonna happen, you might just end up creating those circumstances because you've accepted the fact that something bad is gonna happen to you. That is not how astrology should be used. Astrology is not meant to create fear in other people. It's meant to generate hope, and more than anything, it's meant to teach a person that these are the lessons that planets want to emphasize for your particular birth chart. So you better focus on these areas and become a better person. That's it. Thank you.